Hi everybody, welcome back again. We are almost halfway. This is chapter 5, and we have finished already 4 chapters. And for the course Introduction to Network Security class. Um, Now, as a continuation to the previous chapters, we discussed the basic fundamentals of security. We talked about encryption, we talked about cryptography, and many other topics related to that concepts and standards. Now we move into network basics. There are 3 objectives of this chapter that we would like to address. The first objective will be to identify the basic network architecture, because it's very important if you want to understand what is security and how security is being implemented in network and computer and internet. You definitely need to have a good understanding of network basics and their concepts. That's why the first topic is to identify the basic network architecture. The second is that we will be talking about the different network topologies that exist and the layout of the computer and how they are being implemented. The third, then we move into the protocol area, to the higher layer of the OSI model, by discussing different type of protocols, and those protocols really are more into relation or related to the security, and they can be utilized to understand the security concepts. Introduction to the topic. As we all know, networks is about connecting 2 or more or 100 or million of computers together. At basic level, is by connecting 2 computers we establish a network. And of course, it goes beyond that. It goes to hundreds of millions of computers that exist everywhere, which is the internet. So the network could be very small, and it could be extremely a huge number of computers spanning different continents, different parts of the world. Now, networks are classified in terms of course, architecture, topology, and protocol. That's why the first topic we need to understand is the basic network architecture. Now, defining the network architecture really, it involves understanding the physical layout and the logical layout, the logical operation, the structure, okay, the protocols that are being implemented, and other elements. So networks are classified into 2 main categories. This is conventional since the 1990s and late 1980s. The classification of network is either local area network or LANs, and wide area networks or WANs. Okay. Now, a local area network is usually smaller in terms of size as compared to the wide area network, and the coverage area, the geographic coverage area, is also small. Now, we could have also 2 or small networks together in a small office, or we could have usually LAN is deployed in a smaller environment, smaller building, smaller office. This is what we call it, LAN. Now, a wide area network usually involves multiple sites, multiple locations, and that could be interconnected using different transmission scheme, media scheme, different connectivity. It could be based on fiber optics, FDDI connectivity, or ATM connectivity, or for example, lease line, dial-up, and high bandwidth satellite communication, and so on. So one consists of 2 or more networks connected by using different methods, including lease line, radio waves, satellites, etc. Now, the early 1990s prediction came true. Networks will change everything. And this is said by Paul Sappho. In other words, I support this statement 100%. The internet paradigm that existed in the